Why is it Saudi Arabia that has an agreement with Uganda and Uganda go there and suffer?
Different stakeholders, leaders and authorities have shown concern about the continuous human trafficking business and mistreatment of Ugandan workers in Arabic countries such as Saudi Arabia and Qatar, among others.
Most girls who travel abroad and are usually sexually abused. Some are used by dogs and other immoral actions. And what measures are you implementing to stop this difference?
These have shown their dissatisfaction with such acts of human trafficking and mistreatment of Ugandan workers in Arabic countries during the sensitization meeting conducted by the International Organization of Migration, IOM, Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development, and Uganda Association of External Recruitment Agencies, aiming at creating awareness and promoting ethical recruitment in the hotel and tourism industry that took place at Rukikko Hall in Kabale District. According to the Northern Division LC3 chairperson in Kabale Municipality, Isaac Lushoga, their main decry is on labor external workers who travel to Arabic countries and end up being sexually abused and harassed, among many other shameful acts. Lushoga further calls upon the government to set up a strong fight against companies and people dealing in the business of human trafficking, saying that it's the government's responsibility to protect its citizens.
Ugandans always have a concern of people who go there and turn and end up in slavery. They are sexually abused, they are being used by dogs to sleep with them, to suck their breasts, and to do other funny immoral things. Obviously, the government should be responsible to handle this human trafficking because it is the government that is responsible to handle its citizens before you leave or coming in. We've requested these people from the Ministry of Gender and Labour to always sensitize our people. They go over the radios, they go to TVs, because a lot have been said on these companies.
Reverend Edward Mwesgwa, the parish priest for St. Andrew's Nyamikuni Church of Uganda, also raises the concern of the government of Uganda keeping a deaf ear on the suffering of external workers from Uganda whose torture and abuse has always been exposed on social media, yet Uganda signed an agreement with some of the Arabic countries to export labor.
About the bilateral agreement that was made between Uganda and Saudi Arabia, that Uganda should send their younger people to work different sectors as drivers, domestic workers, especially domestic workers. But we have seen our people suffering, seeing them and hearing about them suffering in Saudi Arabia, yet our country has done nothing to protect them.
The Public Relations Officer for the Uganda Association of External Recruitment Agencies, Loni Mokondane, says that if the government does not work hard to stop human trafficking, Uganda will not only lose revenues from labor externalization, but also the continuous loss of lives because it's very difficult to track Ugandans who illegally travel.
Trafficking is illegal, and because it exposes the lives of the Ugandans to a lot of distress. Now, if trafficking continues, of course, the government will not only lose the revenue, but also the lives of the people that are taken that way. It becomes very hard to account or to even monitor the person who has gone illegally, who has basically been trafficked. So even if we don't look at the issue of money alone or what they will be sending home, their lives matter. And the fact that they have gone illegally or being untraceable, it in itself, the government will not be happy.
Mokondane adds that according to the Bank of Uganda statistics, every year, labor externalization earns the country remittances equivalent to $1.3 billion that are always diverted to support government programs.
The Ugandans that are working abroad send home what we call remittances of $1.3 billion annually. And the Ugandans working in the Middle East alone send home $900 million every year. And most of these, or 60% of that, of those is the Ugandans in Saudi Arabia. So, but the Ugandan government also earns what we call non-tax revenue. This is money that is gotten from the sale of passports. For the last year alone, Uganda collected over 54 billion Uganda shillings from the sale of passports. But there's also sale or what the money we pay for every job order or for every job vacancy we get for Ugandan, which is an equivalent of $30, which is about 100,000 Uganda shillings. In last year alone, the government was able to collect over 12 billion from that money. So there's a lot that the government earns, And this is the money that the government uses for other programs, for example, like personal development model. And
Bernard Askelo, the labor officer at the Ministry of Gender, Labour and Social Development, says that the sector has been faced with challenges of human trafficking, which has greatly affected the performance of labor externalization in the country. Askelo further calls upon the community to always notify the relevant authorities in case they find out that some companies are not legit.
It starts with us, the community. If you says that this company is not legit, you have to notify to the authorities nearby. Then it is start with us that if this company is not licensed, why should I deal with it? So as the ministry is working with other stakeholders, that's with the security, that should we get that a company is not licensed by the government and is doing the recruitment placing our Ugandans abroad. Most cases, those cases we handle them over to the security to do more investigations, and should they find out that really they are involving in this act and have over maybe charged our Ugandans money or have exploited our Ugandans, these people, of course, have to be brought before the law. And most of them are being arrested, can I say.
The senior project assistant for IOM, Susan Akoli, says that they are set to move around different communities, creating awareness about labor externalization to curb cases of illegit companies taking over.
People do not have the right information when it comes to labor externalization. So we are on a national drive covering different regions to let the stakeholders know about safe labor migration and ethical recruitment of migrant workers should anybody desire to go and work abroad as a migrant worker.
Uganda is a source and destination country for men, women and children trafficked within the country, as well as United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, among others, for the purpose of forced labor and sexual exploitation. Nabati Ngamachi, Portuguese Television.